So we've obviously dealt with some wild fits here throughout 2025 and even some wild fits over the last week in the market. I'm sure we can all agree with that. And that's definitely causing a little bit of uncertainty for what the remainder of the year is going to look like when it comes to some people. But there was a great question from a viewer that I wanted to have a discussion about. Can here in 2025 ADA still hit $2? I want to break down a few things here because we are seeing some very important things that need to happen for us to get there. And does history, in fact, show us the way? So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So if I had to put odds on this, betting odds for ADA to hit $2, because right now we're at about 68 cents at the time of filming this video. I mean, we're still talking a move that is what, 200 and some odd percent away, actually a little over 200% away. That's a pretty sizable move that has to happen for a $20+ billion market cap. Right now, I bet you betting odds on this would probably be around, 12% odds, 15% odds, somewhere in there. Now, it's more nuanced than just betting because here's the thing. We're at a time where, historically speaking, the market begins to take off. Q4 tends to be very good for the crypto markets. Obviously, October started off on, frankly, kind of a shit note with the largest black swan event in crypto history. That's not something that instills a lot of confidence in the market. But we have seen the right things taking place. We're seeing conviction remain high. We're seeing whale accumulation take place. We're seeing exchange supply around the market just dwindle. So those are the things that we do need to see set up for us to make these moves to the upside. And just to give some credit for this question, that was M. Yasar. Appreciate the question. And here's the thing. Right now, we are doing and setting up how we have set up before we've made these major rallies multiple times in this market cycle. When we're looking back all the way back here in October of 2023, here again in November of 2024, this is kind of where we're at, both on a structure level, but on a fundamental level. You're seeing similar fundamentals to what you saw during those times. Now, here's what I will say is also, if we're looking at something like the weekly chart, excuse all my lines, guys. I know I have a lot of them on here. There's a lot of things that we're tracking right now. But what we're seeing on weekly stochastic RSI is us getting down to this reset range. And why this reset range is so important, especially on the weekly, is it is exactly what gives you all this room to move to the upside. You guys can see that when we reset back here in basically July of 2024, this kind of kicked off this major rally that allowed us to surge 300% in terms of ADA. We take a look back here in October of 2023, we were fully reset on the weekly stochastic RSI, and that allowed us to make this 300% move to the upside. Now, does this mean that that's going to happen again? No, not necessarily. But again, with similar fundamentals and similar sentiment in the market, it's exactly what is setting us up for a potential move like that. Now, the biggest thing that we're fighting against here is time. And I don't mean by time for the end of the market cycle. I mean by time because we're only 75 days away from the end of the year. Now, that being said, a lot of these moves can take place very quickly. We know this November rally, this was only 28 days or so that we were actually running to the upside. This rally from basically October until February, obviously that was several months long. But what's interesting is, when we look back here at what ADA did last market cycle, you guys can see we are building a very similar formation. We've been talking about this a lot because we've been waiting for this next extension and breakthrough to the upside here of our longer term trend. This is exactly what we had waited for in last market cycle. You guys can see from tap to tap there was actually 224 days. Right now, this would be a much longer period of time. Right now, we'd be talking about almost a full year, 360 days. But what's interesting is from the time that this bottomed to the time where it actually broke out was not that long of a period of time. It was a matter of 30 days, 1 month. Well, what we did was we pretty much just bottomed out on this chart. Okay, maybe you could count this back here. You could take a look at this, down here, wherever you want to call it, right? But what this is showing us is that you don't necessarily need that much time to make these aggressive moves, especially when we're at this point fundamentally, especially when we're at this point repeating the ADA BTC chart. All this is actually showing very positive signs for the remainder of the year. So here's what I will say is, yes, it's possible for ADA to hit $2 still in this year. And what's interesting about this is we don't even need new adoption in the market yet. Okay. Why I'm saying that is there's currently enough capital in the market to send ADA to $2. There's been huge liquidity injections throughout 2025 here. In fact, just take a look at something like I wasn't going to go this route, but let's take a look at Tether market cap, for example. And you guys can see here how much Tether has actually been minted this year alone. We have climbed from a market cap that was at, oh gosh, what was it? 139 billion to 180 billion. So you've seen almost a 40% liquidity injection across the crypto market. Now, yes, I know that these stables are not on Cardano itself per se, but you have to remember a lot of these stables, it's flowing into exchanges. That's where most of the buying takes place, guys. Most activity is taking place on exchanges, not on DeFi. So you've seen all this capital just pushing its way into the crypto market, and there's a lot of capital still sitting on the sidelines. And during those times of excitement, that's when we've already seen that ADA tends to perform its best. And it's become a big outperformer as of late. Like we've talked about, again, ADA versus Solana, ADA versus BTC, ADA versus Ethereum over the last 365 days. Again, I'm not sure where those are at now with that big correction that we saw across the crypto market. But it's been a very consistent sign that, again, ADA wants to move, and it wants to move in an aggressive way. And now, again, you can, circling back to this, you can take a look back at how much ADA has been removed from exchanges during this time, from the last time that ADA was all the way back at $1.32 back in December of 2024. The path has been cleared for us to make some of these more significant movements. So here's what I will say is, again, right now, because we went through just a big correction, it's going to seem very gloom. It's going to seem like it's not possible, like it's not going to happen. And again, we just need the market to get its feet under itself. We need confidence. We need conviction, which has been very good so far. And then we just need some of that capital that's on the sidelines to start flocking back into the crypto market. Right now, in terms of USDT dominance, guys, we're at 4.85%. We're testing the top of this trend. What have we done every time we've come up and tested this trend? We've gotten major rejections back to the downside. And this trend can be tracked even all the way back here in September of 2024. That was exactly when the next throwback happened. Okay. This is where we're at right now. We're testing that same trend. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at, guys. That's my thoughts on this. Yes, it's still possible. Again, biggest thing we're working against is time. $2. I don't care if it happens in November, December, January, February. It really doesn't matter because, again, I keep looking long term. I keep looking at these advancements that Cardano is making. Maybe one of these launches for Cardano is exactly what gets ADA off the ground and moving. But we'll see what happens. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think $2 is still possible this year? Do you think it's impossible? But have a great day. Show your love below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.